Hello everybody, this is Matthew from StrategyGamecast.com, bringing you another Starcraft 2 battle report. This one is going to be played on Blistering Sands, and our two players are Karma, who will be playing the Red Zerg, and we have over here GetOnMyLevel, who will be playing the blue Terran in the top right. Both of these players are Platinum players, and this is actually a really good game. I watched it before actually doing this battle report as I was testing out some settings on my computer. So we're in for a really good game here. These two players are apparently at the Platinum level, and this report came, or this replay came highly rated from a website that I got it from. So sit back and relax, and we're going to just enjoy a fun game between a Terran and Zerg. So right now we're just watching, and Karma with his, as playing Zerg, is just going for the standard build as he's getting his 11th drone because he was able to do the extractor trick and getting his overlord. I think that extractor trick is rather interesting because it just gives you one extra drone at the time, but at the same time it costs you a bit of time because you have to go over and build the extractor. It'd be interesting to see statistics to see just how much of an advantage it gives you to get that 11th drone in that early. What's really interesting is over on the other side, the Terran have to give up their SCVs in order to go and build their buildings. Of course the drones have to do the same, but early in the game there isn't as much to build because the overlords replace the supply depots. So it'd be interesting to see an income research done to see which ones can outproduce each other really quickly. And so we have, of course, GetOnMyLevel is scouting out just to make sure that there's no real cheese going on with the Zerg. And he'll see that the extractor or the spawning pool is put down before the fast expansion, so he'll need to make sure that he's ready. But of course he's already got his first barracks down, and he's already going for gas as well, so it's a possibility he might try a Reaper rush, although it's a little late for that at this point because he is walling in, so most likely he's just going for a standard build, as we will just sit back and watch and see what he decides to do. If we look at the production tab, nothing really crazy is going on here. He's just going for his orbital command, so he can bring in the extra resources. And now we have Karma getting his extractor to get some gas. So we'll see if he goes for a roach build or if he techs straight up. We can see that he's already going for his expansion, although the SCV is going to be blocking his way, so he's not going to be able to do that. So now he's attacking the SCV. It's kind of strange they don't auto-attack back, which is too bad, because now the SCV was at a severe disadvantage because the player wasn't able to really see that. Going for a second barracks, and we've got a tech lab on this one, and we've got 2 Marines on the way. And so we'll see whether he wants to produce Reapers or if he's just going to be producing Marauders. So that SCV has now been driven off by some Zerglings as well. And now we have the fast expansion up and running. What do we have here? We have a Roach War, and so it looks like he is going to be going for a Roach build. And he's got his queen going back and forth. If you actually watched earlier, you would see as soon as the queen gets off the creep, they go incredibly slow. Patch 10, or patch 9 or 10 did that, so that they would really slow down so they couldn't just run back and forth or be used in rushes as well. So now we've got the Zerg doing what they do best and leaving Zerglings all over the map just so they can have some control, watching over this Zelnaga watchtower. And what do we have here? We have a third barrack. So it looks like GetOnMyLevel is going for a standard M&M build, lots of Marines, and maybe we'll see lots of Marauders. And over on the other side we have Roaches on their way with a second extractor. Let's take a look at the income at this point. Both players are pretty even though Red has slightly less harvesters. Oh, there, his income is a little bit lower, especially since the blue player has these mules running their income. Blue has not yet really ventured out to expand. Of course, he puts down a supply depot over here just so he can watch and make sure nobody secretly enters his back door without his knowledge. Of course, Zerg have a bit of an advantage there. They just have to drop an overlord in that corner. So we've got drones taken off of this line to go into the expansion, which is good because then they can more effectively harvest. And he is busy building more drones and another queen. So it looks like Karma is just going to go for an economic build, of course having Roaches and Zerglings either ready for a push later on or just to defend himself because he wants to be able to defend against well, basically any type of attack. And Roaches are pretty effective against Marines and Marauders, although they can be taken down rather quickly if the Terran player knows what they're doing. So we've got 2 barracks here, both with reactors, so we're definitely going to see lots of Marines and some Marauders. So looks like GetOnMyLevel is going just for a nice low-level push with everything. Don't really see him teching up at all anywhere else. He is now researching Stimpack, while Red Zerg is researching sorry, I have a hard time saying that. The Overlord Speed. That's what we'll call it, just because it's easier to say that. So both sides are just teching up. And now we have a push from GetOnMyLevel, from the blue Terran. And they're just marching across here. Some Marines and Marauders, we'll see how much damage they can do. And I think that the Zerg caught sight of them and so dropped down a couple spine crawlers, although that will not be enough to hold off against this much. But there's also some Zerglings, and looks like we have 6 more Zerglings on the way, but that is it. So we're going to quickly see those Zerglings get torn to pieces. And then unfortunately the Queen stuck around and they Stimpacked up, and now they're just going to eliminate all these drones. These drones are going to leave, kind of cutting them away, although I guess he could have just stood and fought in that case. Didn't really matter though. And now we have 5 Mutalisks on the way. I'm sorry, I missed that. I missed that there is a spire that was built there. But before those Mutalisks are going to be able to get there, he's going to lose his Spine Pool and his Roach Warren. So this is going to put Red Zerg quite behind. Now here's the fun part. GetOnMyLevel just GG. He just had good game. A little bit of a early GG there, and you usually GG if you're the one that's losing. So he's got a little cocky there, saying that he was going to win the game. So now we have these Mutalisks. They killed off all the Marines, and now they're just going to pig off all of these Marauders one by one because they have no response to air units. But the blue Terran did manage to knock out the spawning pool and the Roach Warren. So now Red Zerg, who is down to mining in one place, although if we look at the income, you'll notice that Red Zerg is still doing okay. That's because they're managing to get lots of drones in there. However, they did lose lots of drones from the expansion, so whether or not that was a successful attack, I would say so, as he lost his spawning pool and his Roach Warren, which put him really behind. And we have more Marines being produced, and well, Red Zerg is not producing anything, but they're coming in here to start harassing. So what are they going to do? They're going to run over here, snipe 1 SCV, 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs, and then they're going to run as they get completely outgunned by those Marines. So they're just heading off over here, and it looks like there's 4 more Marines being produced by blue, and a few more Mutalisks being produced by red. They're not going to be able to do much at this time as they're outgunned. But the nice thing about Mutalisks is that they are very good at harassing because they're so fast and they're not restricted by the terrain. So right there, see blue caught sight of them and has to run back rather than being able to push. So that gives Red Zerg some time to build back up and get his technology back up to running. Although he still has not yet. Oh no, he's just building his spawning pool now. Looked like it was there for a second. The new replays for some reason show building as if it's already complete. Have an engineering building on our engineering bay on the way, so that sure enough, missile turrets we'll see missile turrets go down to protect the mineral line, which is very important as GetOnMyLevel only has 1 mineral line, and there's not even that many SCVs really producing. And you can see when you look at the income that blue is way behind on that. And that if you look at the extractors, there's only a couple of SCVs actually even getting gas. So he's really relying on just getting Marines, because these refineries are not being used. While on the other side, both extractors are being used, and we're seeing more being brought in the way, which of course if he wants to go Mutalisks, he's going to need that. We have more Mutalisks on the way. And now a Hydralisk den, so perhaps he's expecting some anti-air in the form of aircraft, in the Vikings perhaps. And so he's preparing himself just in case. Because he hasn't really scouted out the other base. If we look at here, all he's seen is what he just saw with those Mutalisks, so he doesn't know if some starports or a factory were put down. Although he did see that there wasn't a factory, so it would take a little while before we'd be ready. So you can never be too careful, it's good. And now he sees the attack coming in, and these drones are retreating from that mineral line. And that way they can just come in right here, and there won't be much of an income loss. It will suck to lose this, and it looks like he is going to lose that hatchery.